Dennis is here right on time. Many vibes. Good to see you. It's hot over here. Oh, nice. Well, it's nice today. It was cold on my walk this morning to get coffee, but I still didn't wear like a anything but my t-shirt because I figured I'd get warm with my coffee. It's getting warmer today. I'll probably hit 90 today, but I mean, LA, you know, they talk about the water. We always have water issues or whatever, so I actually turned down my sprinklers a little bit because the city, they said, oh, you use more water than your neighbors. And I'm like, they always send you these things because they're getting ready to do something different, like fine me $10,000 for using 1 gallon more than my neighbor or something like that, because they're always trying to justify things that they do. It's ridiculous. They did start doing tiered electricity use in Pasadena, and they before they did it though, they said, oh, here's, just so you know, this is how much energy you're using. And we homeschooled, so, and I worked at home, so we had 5 people in our apartment, and so we had the AC on in the summer. I mean, it was just what it was. I mean, just like a business, and yet they changed it so they were tier charging us. So we got paid. We got like into tier 3 and 4. And so we were paying like 5 times more than our neighbors for the same amount of energy because we were using more of it. But anyway, it's just like ridiculous. Now in LA, they do a thing based on income. So if you make more income, you pay more. You may pay more energy prices. I mean, they're kind of doing that everywhere. Like if you go shopping online, and that's kind of been the case always for airlines. Airlines, it's like you don't know what the price of anything is. They have so many different things. Even back in the 60s and 70s, you wouldn't have any idea if you were paying the same as the person next to you. Yes, my life, yeah, we homeschooled all of our kids all the way through high school, so they're all very productive, married happily. Very happy kids, very successful in all their fields. Actually, very successful in all of their fields, and all very young. So we're very proud, obviously. But yeah, it's crazy. And we keep the air. I mean, I set the temperature when Beth's not around. I set it to 80 for the house. You know, I don't. Some people put their, I mean, there's no way I could get the house down to, when it's 100 degrees out, there's no way to get it down to 72. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'd be cold at 72. It's supposed to be hot next week. This week it's going to be high 80s, low 90s. And again, it doesn't last very long. I mean, it's like, and the key for us is if it gets down into the 60s at night, you can really cool the house down. When it's really hard is when it doesn't get below 80 at night, and that only happened one night last year, and it hasn't happened yet this year. I think we have next week we're supposed to have a night that gets down to 74, so that's pretty warm for night. But keep in mind, it's a desert, so when we're like out of water and everything, it's not a shock to me. It's like, yeah, of course we're out of water, you know. It's a desert, and that's why we have these aqueducts that were so brilliantly built back in the day. I don't know if they were part of they probably were part of the like Depression era create jobs kind of thing. But I recently went up to Santa Clarita and I saw the and it's like a torrent of water coming down over the aqueduct system in Santa Clarita into LA. It's amazing. I mean, it's just an amazing system. And when you go up to Sacramento, there's just water everywhere. So they have a ton of water that they can totally spare. It's just going down the rivers. They can totally send it to us. So anyway, But yeah, we're in a desert, so the benefit to that is at night it gets very cool. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, but technically it's reclaimed desert. Our street's very green, very pretty street. People come from all over to just walk on our street. But sorry, I'm getting emails and texts and. Okay, so we're going to talk some more about grooving. I don't really have anything over here much to talk about there. I have some old, I wonder if I have them on this computer. I have some old graphics that I might be able to pull up. Let me see if I can find some. I had an old website on, remember AOL Hometowns? Is that on here? I don't see it. Might be on my laptop. Lessons. Oh yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. I got a lot of those. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Okay, so let me go to my desktop and see if I've got this our folder here for all our stuff. Let me see if any of these have rhythms in them. There are a lot of scale diagrams, things like that, but I'm not seeing grooves. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It's all right. We're gonna talk about. We don't have many people on yet. People are busy working, and I appreciate that. Hey, Bruce. Charlie, what's going on? Nice. Go to the beach. All right. Hey, Charlie. Good to see you again. Yeah, it's nice today. It's not too hot. Although down San Diego probably has the best weather in all of the world. You'd be hard pressed to find a better place with better weather than San Diego. So last week we were talking about grooving, and we were talking about swing. It's that thing where machines can play perfect 6/8 notes, and we can come pretty close. You know, it's like those are eighth notes. Those are really solid, dun, 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 almost robotic. Well, those are actually dotted eighth notes, but you know, we can do a very solid, very even, machine-like eighth notes. Generally, like I've noticed, is that as soon as you bring an upstroke into it, it's almost impossible to do a perfect. It feels, and even then, I'm trying to be perfect, like perfectly even, but I'm probably not. But I think it's easier to swing when you're doing, and that's a pure triplet swing right there. And the way you can tell is, and I could do that with all downstrokes. You can try that. But the way you can tell that it's pretty much a triplet is you can do three of those in a beat. Bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So if you do that, if you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you're going to be on 1, you're going to be down, up, down, and on 2, you're going to be on up. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Now that, and if we were to play that faster, it would be, you know, like. I have it right here. I think I have it right here. Hold on. Oh. Yeah, it's 70. So this has, oh no, though this is a swing. That's a different swing. Okay, let me see what this one is. No. Gotta find it. I did so many of these last week. And this is way down here. Okay. Oh wait, you know how to do it this way. There's a triplet. See, there it is. 1, 2, 3. That's the one. Okay. So let me loop this one. Now, if you listen to this, I've got a kick on 1 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And a snare hit on 2 and 4. The tempo is 70 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then there's a triplet there. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's kind of hard to say. And if I'm going to play all of those hi-hat hits, all of those, it's 12 notes in a 1 bar, because you have 4 beats times 3 notes. 4 times 3 is 12. But that means that on the kick, we're going to be down, and on the snare, we're going to be up. Can you do that? Downstrokes. Or you could do, so there I'm doing, so you got three notes per beat, right? 1, 2, 3. I'm skipping, I'm basically making that one silent, so it's like this. Okay? Better than just only playing that, right? Because then it would be, oh no, I'm not going to do it. So it's, instead of 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, it's 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. I guess it's, but, and that's kind of a swing feel. It's definitely a swing feel. That's like the classic swing feel. But we were messing around with playing straight 8th notes, but moving it a little bit, maybe halfway between a perfect triplet swing and a straight 8th note feel. There's, you know, all sorts of, like I said, if that's 50 and this is 67 or 66.6 repeating, you got all that space in there. You know, 51 would be very subtle, 52 still subtle, 53, 54 you might start to notice it. 55 you're definitely 6, 7, 8 you'll definitely start noticing it. 60 you're almost all the way to a full swing. So that kind of thing where it's some of that you might have your own unique percentage that when you swing or when you play, you know, when you do your own feel, you know, rhythm and stuff like that, you might have your own personalized fingerprint of a swing. That's, you might be, you know, your swing when you kind of naturally get into your groove, it might be 62.387528. It might be completely like pi. It might be a number that's completely unique to you. Now I'm hungry for pie. Dang it. So, try to do that. One. See, I'm using all downstrokes. But yeah, so that's a swing feel. If you ever hear that kind of groove, that's pure swing. And I'm basically eliminating the middle triplet note. Now I can play all three. You can sound like this. Back to A, back and forth between E and A. Now, while the tempo is only 70 BPM, that sounds like it would be really slow, but because we're subdividing it into triplets, it's pretty fast. I think I have eighth notes here, pure eight. Are these pure eights here? Let me see what this sounds like. No, that's funny. Those are 16th notes, even faster. Okay. Do I have one with it? Okay, that's swung. Yeah, that's a weird one, huh? There's eighth notes right there. See how slow that sounds? And I think that's pure eights. Let's see. Yeah, those are right on the grid. That's what we say in the studio. Is like when everything's lined up on eighth notes and 16th notes. There's no swing to it at all. You say it's on the grid, and so that you've got basically 8. You've got 2 beats per, or 2 strums per beat. And it's cool, kind of machine-like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... But the other one was it here. One, two, three, two, two, three, three, two, three. Hey, Leo. So that's kind of a, now, if I were strumming like open chords, like a G chord. So here's the thing I tend to do when I'm strumming that. Let me go with a lighter pick. So here's the deal. If I were to strum in 12, that's basically 12/8, right? That's a triplet over 4/4. Well, so we have, like I said, we have 4 quarter notes, and we have 3 notes per, so 4 times 3 is 12, so 12. And then the reason you say 12/8, the reason it's 8 there is because the 8 is what you're counting. Okay, so when you see a time signature, the top number tells you how many, and the bottom number tells you what we are counting. So if it's 4/4, which is the most common, it means it's 4 beats and we're counting. Those are quarter note counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are quarter notes. If you see, you see 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Waltzes are 3. That would probably be written out in 3/4. 12/8 would be kind of like thinking 6/4, I guess you could say, right? You would have, right? So, but then you would be giving the quarter note the beat, and that would be, to me, be confusing because that would feel like a different feel. 12/8, you're really dividing it into 4, and you have three notes per 4. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. However, if I were strumming this, again, it depends, but it's 12/8. If I were playing acoustic, I would probably start with an upstroke on 1. Therefore, because remember when we do the pure alternating with the triplet, on the downbeats, the 1, 2, 3, and 4, we are alternating a downstroke and an upstroke. So it goes back and forth, and so that's great. But downstrokes are kind of stronger, and it's easier to do. Like I can do a snare hit on a downstroke, but it's a little harder on an upstroke. I could do it. Probably should practice it, but I don't have to do it. But if I start 12/8 on a strumming situation like this, if I start 12/8 on an upstroke, I get this feel. Like me and Julio down by the schoolyard kind of vibe. So it's a pseudo kind of Puerto Rican, I guess you could say, or Latin feel in general. Now, that's hard. We do it just an E minor or E chord. It's hard for me because it's so slow. Sometimes things too slow are almost more difficult to do. Hey, 6'9", what's going on? And Joseph, good to see you. Hello. And Scott, I said hi. Izzy's in the house. Good to see you. And we got kind of a small group today. John Y's not here, is he? I haven't seen John Y. But again, the reason I want to have the 2 and 4 be downstrokes is so that I can do a snare hit, or I kind of emphasize 2 and 4, which is like what the drums do. Those are, the 2 most important beats. Now for me, that again, like that's kind of a slow feel, but let's check it out. So up, down, up, down, up, down. So let's do this. Let's try to keep it real simple. We're going to go E minor to A2. Okay? So I'm going E minor. We go. Again, it's going to sound very Spanish. E major to A minor. Okay? So all I'm doing is taking E major and I'm just taking those fingers down. 1 string each. And so if we start with an upstroke. So that way we know, the reason I'm having a chord change in there is so that you know when one bar is up and the next bar is starting. Because it's easy, super duper easy when you're starting on an upstroke to get turned around and forget where 1 is. So 1 is where the chord changes, okay? So that's why it's nice when you're gonna work on a pattern that's kind of weird like that, you might want to put a chord change in there rather than just do it with 1 chord, because you want to keep track of where 1 is. And even though this groove is solid, it's just like you're hitting every string, but it's real easy to suddenly go, oh shoot, if I can do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and suddenly you go from 12/8, you jump into 4/4 like without even noticing that you've done it. Okay, so it's all I'm doing is try to put an accent on that downstroke that's the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm still kind of fixating on the swing and the triplet thing. I'm going to talk about the other stuff soon, but again, I'm doing 12/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 1. So 12/8, you wouldn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because you have 7 in there and you have 11. It's just like, yeah, I can play in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Old musician joke, and I'm an old musician. So generally, way you can count. If you wanted to use your mouth to count, is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a tongue twister, at least for me it is. But 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And if I were to play like a blues or something, I would might very likely use all downstroke. All of those, all 12 of those. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But I might drop that middle triplet note. Of the 3, I might drop that middle one and it would sound like this. Or I might kind of ghost it. Remember we talked about ghosting last week? Ghosting just means playing some notes softer, very soft, almost imperceivable. Imperceivable. And then, kind of, it kind of keeps the pulse going in your head. Sometimes you do it just to kind of keep the subdivisions going. Drummers do it a lot with the I did it. Did I program it somewhere in here? Was it here? No, I probably got rid of it. See, there's a triplet feel with the middle dropped out. Let's see, what's that one? That's no swing at all. But with 8th note, or 16th note pickups. But like a ghost would be something like this. So listen to this. I'm going to solo. Here are all those little extra hits in there. That's called ghosting. Oh, that's a triplet. Yeah, so that's just another, and so that's what ghosting is. And what was it? So there's our 8th note, 16th note. I'm sorry, they're 8th note triplet thing. But yeah, so the ghosting thing can. I can hit bump, 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 but no, the bump, 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 bump. And so I might do something like, where I'm just basically hitting the strings muted or something. It's a kind of a cool trick to use when you want to maybe set the tone, because if you just went, people wouldn't know what the heck the feel was. But if you went, and just to be very specific right then, what I was doing, I hit 2 notes, dead, and then I hit the open E. So it was like, so I've got all those subdivisions, I've got all those triplets in there, but they're not glaring, they're not jumping. It's not as obvious as that. But you might go to this at some point. But what ghosting does is it gives you an opportunity to kind of bring it down a little bit, kind of keep the groove going. See, this is also very difficult. So often, like we deal with beginner drummers, not even totally beginner drummers, but you can, drummers playing a groove and like, man, that sounds great. Okay, but it's too loud. Play quieter, and then they slow down. That's actually not unusual. You might be like, hell yeah, man, dude, you're too loud. Oh, okay. I didn't say you were too slow. I said you were too loud. So it's like you got to be able to keep the feel, and by the feel that includes the meter, which is what we're talking about. 12/8 is a meter, 4/4 is a meter. I try to not use too much lingo, but this lingo, musician lingo, is good to know the main stuff. Big Sugar. Let's see. Have you ever heard Big Sugar Ride Like Hell? Tom's got that groove style going right here. Oh, funny. I don't know it, but yes, change the dynamic, but keep the groove. That's just something you can really practice. In fact, but again, having a drummer kind of helps with that. Oh, that's 8. Sorry, that's the 16th note one. I'm like, why is that so? Isn't that funny? There's the triplet. funny though, because when I was playing it, I mean, it was even slower than that. So what is that, 50? If I slow the tempo down to 50, will that do it? Let's see what 50 sounds like. And again, when you're playing triplets, you're actually playing 150. You multiply it by 3. Wait, no. What is that? Hold on. That's swung 16ths. Gosh darn it. I'm finding all the wrong ones here. Let me see, what's this one? I just created a bunch of them and didn't mark them or anything. And I think this is the triplet. Okay, so 70 is probably fine. That's why it worked. Okay. But to Sadie's point, the point I wanted to make with Sadie is that, yeah, if you have like a metronome or like a little drum track that can be playing that 12/8 feel, super duper common feel, then you can practice playing loud and quiet against it and not change tempo, because the drum machine's doing the tempo. So super good exercise to do back to left. So, and then if you're able to do it with the drum machine, you might be more likely to be able to do it by yourself. You know, like if you're doing a coffee shop and you're just accompanying yourself singing whatever, you know. I think it's easier to keep the time and stay in tempo if you're singing, because songs have a certain tempo that they just feel perfect in. When you're obviously, generally that work is done before they record the song. There may be some, well, I mean, I can definitely think of some songs that sounded better at a slower tempo than the original tempo. But maybe that's a question for Facebook. But what are some songs that sound better at a slower tempo than at their original tempo? But I find when I'm writing a song, especially if I'm singing it, I'll kind of experiment with a tempo to find out. I might assume originally when I write the song that this is the best tempo for it, but if I slow it down and go, oh wait, you know what, the lyrics feel better at this tempo. If I speed it up, it's like, yeah, no, this is definitely better. There's too much gap between phrases or something, and if I speed it up, it makes that gap smaller and it makes the song a little bit more listenable. So you just don't know. Sometimes I'll write for others and they'll send it back to me and say, we love it, but can you do it at a slower tempo, you know, or a faster tempo, or something like that. Oh yeah, Godzilla, yeah. There are, you know, they slow them down like 800%. Those are kind of crazy. I mean, I've heard Bieber tunes slow down 800%, and they basically, it just sounds like this kind of weird string section, like playing really slow, you know, and there'll be like little things that pop out. It's really weird, kind of eerie. But I'm just talking about mildly slowed down, you know, or sped up. So, oh, the bass strings are sounding fuzzy. Oh, weird. Okay. I was really hitting hard though, Bruce, so I probably won't hit that hard again. I was doing that to make a point, so I'll watch it. Bad Moon Rising, you can hold a D chord and use baby finger. Use the baby finger for beat, you mean for the, like this? And if I were to do, you could do that, you know, the 5/6 to the flat 7, E, A, of times if I'm going to do that, and I get to the B chord, if I want the 7, I'm going to go up here. That's a pretty big stretch right there. You see, I'm at the 7th fret and I'm at the 12th fret. But I could do it there. I'm at the 2nd fret and the 7th fret, but that's, it's really far. So if I'm going to go to the 5 chord and I'm B chord here, I'm probably just going to go to a 5/6 suspension thing and skip the 7th. That was like Life in the Fast Lane, but with a major instead of. That would be the Mixolydian version of Life in the Fast Lane. It'd be a great way to teach modes. So in major, it would sound like this. Or in Lydian, it would be. Let's see, what other modes could you do that in? It's pentatonic. It's not a diatonic riff, but. You really could, because you don't have a 6th in there to make it a Lydian. You don't have a 6th in there to make it a minor or a Dorian, and you don't have a 2nd in there to make it a minor Dorian or a to imply Lydian. So I can only do it in the major keys for some reason. Yeah, counting makes you mess up. Yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So hard. That's why you need a metronome. And most my phone's charging, but most metronomes will have different meters. So you can tap on it and then pull down the meter you want, 12/8. The only problem is sometimes when you're really banging away on an acoustic guitar, I don't care how loud your phone is, you're not going to hear it. So you can put earbuds in, and that way it's right there, and you can totally hear it better that way. So that's what I would do if I was practicing something that I like. If I was working on flamenco patterns with a metronome, I'm almost always going to have to wear earbuds because it's just my whole point is to try to play loud. Because with flamenco, you're trying to be louder than the dancers, and they have taps on their shoes, and the singers and the castanets. So you really gotta. What was it? I can't. Yeah, I got to work on my triplet feel for the flamenco stuff because I'm not doing a triplet feel. It's like da 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 da. It's like I'm doing. See, that's 2 16th note. Well, 16th note to an 8th note to a 16th note. That's this feel. Oh, I'm not. I wish I could do the flamenco thing. Can't quite get that 5-finger rasgueado down. I can do 1, but doing 2 in a row. If I ever did like kind of retire, semi-retire, I would love to go to Spain for a month and study flamenco. If my hands were good enough to do that, I don't know. We could start a fund to send Tommy. I don't know if I could take a month off from work. My employers would be like, what are you doing to me? So, okay. So let's talk. I want to talk about 16th note fields. We got a 16th note here. This is what was throwing me because I thought it was. And this one's easier in the sense that you got to move faster, but. But I want to show you a chord we're going to work on a little bit. I want to show you an E9 chord. You play this on electric or acoustic. We could technically have the E string open. All right. So I'm going to create a little. What is this? Huh. This is that. Okay. So wait, this is that. No. This is. Oh, that's that. Weird. It says I got all these screenshots up here, but did I must have deleted them. That's must have been something. Yes. All right. Oh, weird. It's weird. So I must have had something that was attached to my desktop and I got rid of them, so they're no longer here. All right. So I'm going to add a little text here. So E9, basically E9. Basically, we can do open, and then what's that? What's that? Like that, or we could do X and then 9, 8, 9, 9, 9. And the notes on an E9 chord, okay, are E, G sharp, B, D, and F sharp, okay? And I'll explain that in a second, but let me do all that and make this a lot smaller so we can all see it. It's this chord. So the way I'm playing it is I'm putting my second finger on the 9th fret of the 5th string, and I'm putting my first finger on the 8th fret of the 4th string, and then I'm laying my third finger down and getting the top 3 strings. You can even start there and add these two. You do something like something like from the movie Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I don't know what that is. Is that a flamenco thing? And if I want to make it a 13th, I can do this. But on E, a 9th chord is basically going to be the 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. It's technically a 5-note chord. In fact, we have all 5 notes here in this voicing, which is kind of nice. It's unusual to have a 5-note voicing on the guitar that contains all 5 notes. So that would be a 9th chord. Okay, again, the E is 1, 3, 5. There's a triad, 1, 3, 5. That's very common. And this is a major triad. And normally in the key of E, you would have a D sharp, but because this is a kind of a dominant chord, technically this chord would be in the key of A, and would be kind of the 5 chord. Technically it would want to go, if you feel like it's unresolved. But you can have entire songs that are just on an E9 chord. It's with Antonio Banderas. Okay, but yeah, so the way you can understand chord symbols is if it's E add 9, which I wouldn't call it that, but if you had E add 9, it would be E, G sharp B, no D, and an F sharp. I would call that E2, basically, because F sharp is also the 2. You notice the note between E and G sharp is F sharp. But again, if we were to, when I teach chord theory, I always write out 2 octaves of the scale so that you can see, you can count up to 13 because that's what we need to get to. And so a 9th chord would be 5 notes, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. All the odd notes from 1 to 9, okay? All the odd numbers from 1 to 9. A 7th chord would be just 4 notes. an 11th chord would technically be 6 notes, and E11 would include a D, or sorry, an A. But really, I don't think you would ever. I mean, if I could play it. If I maybe let's see. Yeah, it's not really any. I've never heard. Usually, when somebody says E11, they mean a D over E or something. That's kind of what people think of when they think of an 11 chord. And so that's basically a D triad with an E in the bass. Because if you'll notice, here we have E, G sharp, B. That's an E major triad. And then we have D, F sharp. If we go to the 11, it would be A. So we'd have D, F sharp, A. That's a D triad. So basically, what I could do it on piano real easy. You know, I could do. See, that's a E major triad. Oops, sorry. And a D major triad. If I put them right on top of each other, it would be like this. Wait, see, can I do it? No, not easily. I need 2 hands. See, you never hear that. You wouldn't even hear this. But this you might hear. But maybe the G sharp, I don't. Maybe the B I might add. The G sharp sounds a little weird, but that's basically this. Oops, no. With an E in the bass. And that, I always call that the Earth, Wind, and Fire chord. Check it out. But what we're doing is, you can see that little bit of a D triad there, the D and the F sharp there. It's a great chord. And you can play it this way if you want. Okay, see what I'm doing here? So I'm just maybe the middle 4 strings. You don't really need this note, the B up there. The 5th is always the first to go. But if you want the 5th, that's the full E9 chord. I call it the James Brown chord. Okay, so what we have is pure alternating down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And again, because I'm using upstrokes, it's almost impossible to be rhythm, like perfect 16th notes, which is what that is. So this is 4/4. We wouldn't call this 16/16. It's just 4/4 with a subdivision of 16th notes. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right? So I'm going to have to look up, hold on. I might get in trouble if I do this, if I play it. So what was the song? You're eating barbecued iguana. Ooh, that sounds good. I've had rattlesnake before. Probably the weirdest thing I've ever had. And it was marinated like, you know, like you ever buy those jars? My mom used to get them all the time and I loved them. When she would have cocktail parties, she'd get these marinated mushrooms, little baby mushrooms marinated in like, I don't know, olive oil and maybe garlic and I don't know what, chive. And she would put them in a little bowl and with toothpicks next door and you would just, those were great. Well, that's kind of what they did to the rattlesnake. So it was rattlesnake that was cooked, but put in like an oil, kind of like olive oil or something, garlic. It was kind of basically tasted like chicken you might get on a salad with all that kind of stuff. So, hey, Twisted Lines, what's going on? I wish I could have practiced thumb over from the start. My hand doesn't like it. Oh, over the top like that to mute strings. Yeah, and part of it's because I'm just plain old lazy. Okay, shoot, where did that go? Dennis, you were talking about with Antonio Banderas. Okay, can you do something like from the music Once Upon a Time in Mexico? Once Upon a Time. Wait, I gotta open up Safari. Hold on a second. Once upon a time in Mexico. Sorry. Soundtrack, yeah, guitar. I wish I'd worked on that. That would have been fun. I wonder who did do it.
I am running to be president of the United States, and I need you.
Kamala's needs my money. All right. That sounds like electric guitar. Is this who's the director? Oh, music by Rodriguez. Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. It would be fun to work with him. Okay, so there was another one. What's the next one? Same movie, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what's interesting about that? Okay, let's talk about that feel. Since we're talking about grooves and stuff. Boom bum bum boom bum bum boom bum boom bum bum boom bum bum boom bum boom. So boom 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 boom. Okay, so check this. So what's that first? Oh, he's tuned down. I don't know the rest of it or anything like that. But that's 4/4. It doesn't sound like 4/4 because the subdivisions are 3/3/2. 3 plus 3 plus 2. There's a field. I think I have it. This is very old. This is like 500 years old. So I don't have to worry about copyright. Although technically, if I play it, probably somebody's used it as a piece in their oh man, I have so much music I got. I always think I'm not very busy, and then somebody sends me like I create a new folder, and then I go, wow, last time I worked with them, I feel like I just worked with them, and it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff here. What is this? I don't even remember what this is. Oh, this is from that, game. So yeah, I mean, all this. Holy cow! Oh yeah, I did a lot of work on this. So it's not there. It's called Canarios. Canarios. It's a pretty famous. You would recognize it if you heard it. Let's see if I can. If I can't find it here, I know I have it somewhere. Well, there's a lot of music up here. Is this it? Oh no, this is that. Sorry. That stuff needs to be thrown away. I got my wedding music here that I wrote for my wedding back in the day. And I actually played one of the pieces for Alex's wedding as the bridal march. Well, I'm not seeing it, but maybe it's here. Oh, here. Yeah, this is it here. I do have it. I have one page of it. And keep in mind, again, this will be played on a classical guitar. And keep. This is my job. Just shuffling. Now, I don't always print up everything. If I'm doing electric, generally I just use a PDF and then I put it on one of my 2 screens. But if I'm doing acoustic, I generally face that way and I want to have the music in front of me. I can't fit a microphone in here and get the distance that I want, and I don't want to have the computer and stuff making noise and hard drives and everything. So I can't, well, let me see if I can find it. Now, Canarios is in drop key. But anyway, so the feel on that Robert Rodriguez score is 3 3 plus 2 plus 3. So you can. All right. Oh, these are from my last video. What is that? Oh, that looks interesting, but that's not what I'm looking for. Arkansas, no. Well, it's weird to have one page of something, but not the rest of it. Huh. All right. No matter. I've got enough of it here that I can kind of play at it. But this one is in 6/8 and 3/4 alternating for the most part. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Da, 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 da. It's like I want to live in America. Da, 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 so it's a triplet with a duple feel, which means 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I want to live in America. Oh, a couple of questions above. Thanks, Dennis. What string brand size you? For my dreadnought right now, I've got elixirs, and this is a 13 up on top there. So 13 to, is that 56 on the bottom? I'm not sure. They're the mediums, so they're pretty heavy. But I like the immediacy of it, and they don't sound. I can solo. And then what somebody was asking me, what is that Les Paul looking thing next to the door? Oh no, the Les Paul thing. That's Telly. He's talking about the Les Paul. I mean, that's a $89 Epiphone Les Paul special. That was a matte black that I got that is tuned to high strung. And then I had my daughter do the artwork on it. That's why it looks so weird. So you can see the artwork on it was done by my daughter. I see here. You can see. There we go. And then it's very cool. Very Beatles-esque. She wrote "I love you." I don't know if you can see the "I love you." You got to hunt for it. If you're colorblind, you might not see it. She did the edges too. Pretty cool. And I just got her like these silver, brass, bronze, copper pencils or ink pens to write on it, and it worked like a charm. Very cool. Yeah, I've had people ask if they could hire her to do it, and I said, well, sure, you know, if you want. Canarios is the, let's see. I'm not very, I can't really see. I play it. Drop D. So you can hear that. Yeah, so I don't have, I just never really, wish I'd gotten it down, but I never did get it down. That's why I printed it up, because I wanted to, I need to work on it. And it's kind of one of those things, it's kind of a mind bender because you're constantly changing meters. But this could even do it with, like, say, E minor. Oh. Everybody take a sip. I forgot I was in an open tuning that I did 3 seconds ago. What time is it? Oh, okay. So I'm just playing an E minor chord. And the main reason I'm playing an E minor chord is so I have different notes for my bass, okay? We can do it with just open and not change bass notes. Just go. So what I'm doing is thumb, the top two fingers, the first two fingers, top two strings, twice, thumb, once. So it ends up being 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Almost very Malagueña-like. Now Malagueña is in 9/8, so it's triplet eighth notes and 3 sets of them. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's would be 9/8. This is 4/4, but it kind of gives kind of a 9/8 vibe to it, almost like. So it's like. Or it sounds like a skip, like you're walking and then you stutter. Okay, so let's try that. And that's not very interesting, but it's good to get the pattern down. You want to understand the rhythm. So now if I play an E chord or an E minor chord, it doesn't really matter because I'm playing the top two strings. But and if you listen to the bass by itself, 1, 2 and 4, 1, 2 and 4, 1. That's the rhythm. That's where those bass notes are falling. Sorry. Oh, that's not the one you were asking about. You're talking about the other one inside the door? That's also an Epiphone, and that's I think a Nighthawk Epiphone. It's interesting guitar. Right now I think I have it tuned squishy. I'm trying to remember how I have it tuned. Yeah. It's basically another knockoff of a Gibson guitar. It was a Gibson guitar that they came out with that wasn't very, didn't do very well. It's got a nice small body, super duper light. Small body and lots of pickup options. I think there's even, there's push pull on there. But it's got like a humbucker here. It's got like a, the soap bar here and a single coil here. So it's like this kind of designed to be a kind of an all-purpose. Is this the one you were talking about? But this is tuned down. Yeah, I got this tuned down 2 whole steps. With standard strings. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. So the strings are really loose. I call it my squishy guitar. Let me plug it in so you can hear what I'm talking about. I have a chord. Here it is. Hopefully it works. It's kind of been hanging on a wall, so it might be really dusty. I mean, it's dusty, but... Oh, look at that. Okay, well, I don't need hot lead. Let's see. I need... Where's that here? The Adam Levy will be a good sound for this. I like this. This is just one of my tricks. Let's see what we got. easy to put vibrato on chords, which is really nice. You can't normally do that. Strings are too tight. Your hands aren't strong enough. That's kind of boomy. But it's also hard to play in tune. I sometimes use it just to kind of create an underwater sound. Really hard to play in tune. That's intentional. Yeah. Easy to bend like. The blues in E. Super low because I have it tuned down to C. So technically right now I'm in C standard, which means when you hear standard, it just means standard tuning starting on C. D standard would be standard. Like Van Halen would do E flat standard. So he's playing, everything is the same laid out wise as far as all the shapes and everything. But he's starting out at half step lowers. Other players would do that. Stevie Ray Vaughan would do E flat standard as well, I think, right? And he used super heavy strings. Oh, it is. Yeah, it needs a noise gate. I don't have a gate on there right now. Yeah. Well, I forget what the... Guitar. Actually, a friend of mine just gave it to me. He wanted me to have it. He wasn't using it, and he's like, I want you to have this. And I've used it quite a bit. Like I said, right now it's tuned really way down so I can do the squishy thing. I haven't used it in a while. But what I do, so if I get a melody or something that, well, let me try it on the squishy guitar, see what it sounds like. If I get the MIDI, all I have to do is take the MIDI and transpose it up. Let's see. So if it's in, so say it's a D, and I think I'm playing D, but I'm not playing, and the same thing's in D, and I go to play D, and I'm like, wait, this is not D, that's B flat. So I transpose it up 2 whole steps to make it F sharp. So if I play an F sharp, right here, F sharp major, then I'm in the key of D. And so it's really easy if I have the MIDI for the melody, I can transpose it the opposite direction of the tuning. So if I tune down 2 whole steps, I transpose the MIDI up 2 whole steps so that I can sight read it on the new tuning. So that way I don't have to transpose in my head. So that's what that is. Let's see. What was I talking about? Oh, the E9 chord. See, we got way off subject. And so we got we were talking about the Antonio Banderas movie. So again, now I could probably. I could maybe play with that feel. I could do the same chord. It's basically E to A minor for Malagueña is kind of the beginning of it. Yeah, I know it's got a lot of sipping going on because I'm changing guitars a lot. Oh, sorry. Oh, the low. I probably hit that low note. It distorted. Gotta relax. See, the 5-finger Resciato, which is the one I'm trying to get down, I've been working on for years, it's pinky, ring, middle, index, and then back up with the middle. You bring them all up. Then you got to launch them again. And I keep hearing them say that, you know, you really want to tuck your fingers and like slap them out. And I get that if you're going to just do it once, like that. But to bring them back around, you know, back like this, and then lock them back in. I don't know. So, you know, it's one of those things where you almost can't do it slow. You got to get. I don't know. Anyway, here, let me teach you how I can't play. It's like, what a great teacher Tom is. Okay, so yeah, so again, that pattern, I liked it with the A minor. So what I'm doing is I'm plucking the bottom A string to start with, and then on the melody or the chord top part, the answer, the papa, the papa, I'm playing the 2nd and 3rd string with my 1st and 2nd finger. So I'm playing these 2 notes here. So I'm getting the 3rd and the root. And so what that is again, is a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. A little harder than. So, let's see. So, I could do something, I could create kind of a pattern like that using kind of a Resciato. It's like, so 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. guitar. Let's see. I don't think I would want to do the Raschiato on yeah, that's weird. Cool. Just like a triplet one. No, I want a down up at the end. And then yeah, it's the wow, that's hard. I'm just making something up though. There's a mariachi groove that okay, get ready to take another sip. I'm changing guitars again. That they use on the vihuela, which is this little 5-string. It's basically tuned like the top 5 strings of guitar, except it's got a weird. It doesn't have many frets either. Wait. There it is. So the pattern for that is kind of this weird. Whenever I walk past this thing, I want to pick it up and start doing that groove. And that's a really common, it's a 6/8 feel, right? Yeah, it's a 6/8 feel, and it's, I'm playing like, you can do A minor, let's just do A minor for, but it's, so it's fingers, thumb, fingers, and then fingers, so down, up, down, down, up, down, 2 times. Like that, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's like, it's the same as that Canarios thing that I was telling you about. Again, this lesson is all about stuff Tom can't do. Things Tom can't do. Like lose weight. Oh, belly. That's why I hide behind the guitar. It's so hard to get fast because you get that, it's like you're stuttering. It's down, up, down, down. That's the 2 downs in a row are the hard thing. So like. So it might do something like that where they change in between the pattern. You might do it 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, but it's kind of an interesting pattern though. But it's called, yeah, it's only got 4 frets, so it's really just meant to be played down here. Really can't do many keys, but so many of the songs are in D, so we got D, A, and G, and it's the top 5 strings. So there's no low E string on it, and even the A string's up and up. No, it's the G string that's up and up. The G string. This is the same. No. So this is up an octave, up an octave, and then these 2 are normal. So it's kind of like a 12 string. It's a weird tuning, but it makes for a really bright kind of the big boom, you know, the guitarón. So this is a vihuela. Vihuela. Here's how you spell it. That's how you spell it. So you can look up grooves in there. I found a guy that was a pretty legitimate guy that was teaching the grooves, and that was the main one. You know, like he said, this is so common. And again, you can start, instead of doing 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2, you can start with a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that's the same as the connect, or the same as the I want to live in America. I want to live in America. I mean, basically, Leonard Bernstein just listened to a lot of, you know, Puerto Rican and Latin music. This is a Mexican instrument, but a lot of Latin music is in 3. A lot of Spanish music. I mean, a lot of that music came from Spain, and so you've got a lot of 3/4 and a lot of 6/8, 3/4, and 12/8 are pretty common. 9/8 is pretty common too. Shoot. All right, so all right. Now, I was showing you that E9 chord, and there was a reason for that. We got the 16th note, I think, here. Is that right? Did I do this? So I want you to kind of put your hand in the place of the E9 chord. But just mute the strings. And you can go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, what I'm doing is I'm just squeezing whenever I want. But you've got 16 16th notes in a bar. So it's like this: 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2. Yeah, 100%. Niles Rodgers made a career out of that vibe. And there's so many things. I mean, I have so many cool things I can do with it. It's almost unlimited. For one thing, you could, like, if I do. So what I'm doing there is I'm hitting every third note. But again, if you notice, if you hit every third note, you'll get 15 hits. I mean, you need 50. You have to do something where you either hit 1 and let, you know, out of 4, or 2 out of 2, like this. Like I could do double hits on all those. And notice I'm letting them die between, but I could let it ring out. So I could go. Or I could do it some of the time. Hard to almost think about it, more just natural to do it. But I could also just do it like the double hit on some of them. So it's like. but we're not gonna. That's like lesson 10 kind of vibe on the 16th note thing. Yeah, pedal steel, G6, C6, or E9, and those are the most common things. G9 sometimes. Yeah, pedal steel. All right, sorry, brain just shut off. But basically what you want to do is try to get that going. Try to keep track of where 1 is. 1. Oh, is he? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just squeezing this. You can do like minor chord, but the idea is you want to have a chord that's really good for muting. And one of the things I like to do is like okay, so I wish I had this written out so I could show you, but basically I'm playing a 16th note, I'm squeezing, then 2 16th notes would be X's, then another 16th, and that would be beat 1. The next beat would be 2 X's, a 16th, and an X. There's 4 16th notes, that's beat 2. The next one would be an X, a 16th note, and 2 more X's, that would be beat 3. And beat 4 would be a 16th note and then 3 X's, because again, we have to add a strum somewhere in there because we need 16 beats. But we're playing kind of a 3 pattern, so 3 over 16 is going to be, we're going to run out of 16th notes. So, or we're going to have 1 too many is basically what happens. So, but I can take those 16th notes and move them over 1 16th and move them over another 16th. It's a great exercise. So here's what the 60, starting on 1, and then I'm going to change it up and I'm going to start on the E of 1. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. That's how you would count 16th notes. And so, like, I could do another. Actually, I can just edit this one. Yeah, basically 1 E and 2 space 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and like that. And that's that's how you can count 16th notes. And so I can start on 1, and that would be my first squeeze. 4, 1. So you can see I'm playing on 1, the of 1, the and of 2, then the E of 3, and then just 4. Okay, so if you can see the subdivisions there. 4, that's 16th note, 16th notes, and so if you go 3, so that means you're going to be alternating your squeeze. Your accent's going to be on an downstroke and then an upstroke and an downstroke and an upstroke, assuming you start on 1. If you start on the E of 1, then you're going to start with an upstroke. Then your next one's going to be the downbeat on 2. You're going to be a downstroke, and then the of 2, and that's going to be an upstroke, then the and of 3, and that's going to be a downstroke, and the E of 4, which is going to be an upstroke. So listen to the 2 against each other. Here, hold on a second. Right here. started on one. Now I'm going to do the snare. Is that snare you're in or a hi-hat? I can turn down the snare and the hi-hat, or the snare and the, let me see. Snare and the kick. Let's see. This. No. There we go. And here. And then turn it down a little bit. The most important thing here is to listen to the hi-hat. It's kind of, you know, what you want to, as a guitar player, you want to listen to how the drummer's playing the hi-hat to get your feel. I mean, I could. That kind of groove too with open strings, or I mean with open chords, or in a kind of a country context, or in a kind of I would do it probably faster if I might do something like kind of that. I call it the free range groove. Oh, this chord, I would think that would be a fairly easy chord to play with a baby hand. Because it's all it's a very compact chord. It might be, the problem might be pushing it down and, you know, having all those, and if you want, you can just take one finger and bar like 4 strings. The key is to have a chord that you can mute everything. See, like, that won't work with E. If I play this E, it's kind of like the, gotta have faith. That groove, basically. This is just slower and funky. Hey, Sean. Wait. Oh, hey, Sam. What's going on? But yeah, you know, you could do it with a bar chord too. Just any. But I'm assuming if you're having a hard time with. Catherine, if you're having a hard time with the E9 chord, you're probably going to definitely have a hard time with a bar chord. I did something, what's the other guitar player in Guns N' Roses? I did some track for his daughter. Actually, I think the record came out. It's so weird. Some of the stuff that I play on that actually I think is a demo when it comes out. Grace something. Anyway, been working with Pete Yorn. I played on like 4 songs on his new record. I'm not sure what's going to get on the record or not. Alex actually played on it too. I think I told you guys that. So I kind of have to get going here in a second, but yeah, so another type of grooving, you know, is that 16th note kind of feel, a funk thing. But like I said, you can, I use it to get that kind of, like, I love it with that. Does it sounds so good with that drop D. That it just sounds like cowboys riding horses out on the prairie or on the plains, on the desert or whatever, and it's a great vibe, especially on a 12 string. I'll do that every now and then for certain things, but yeah. But to get the kind of funky thing, you got to have a chord where you can mute strings. So whatever chord you can do, and it can be a small, it might be something to be easier to do on ukulele, but like I said, you can play like an A minor 7 chord, which is just top 4 strings, 5, 5, 5. That's a common little groove pattern. Chord progressions like 5, 5, 5, 5, and then 4, 5, 5, 5. And basically what's implying is a 2, 5 in the key of G. A minor and D9. And you can jam 2, 5 all day. You don't ever have to go to 1. You can just. But just so you know, no quiz on this. That would be E Dorian. Hey, Richard, what's going on? How many people do we have? Are we peaking now? What did we peak at? We got up to 24 again? That's crazy. I don't even notice when it gets to 24. Although, Bruce, you said there were 23 at one point. But we're at 18 right now, or 20. That's not bad. I wish it was like 100. It would be great. I mean, I don't know. It might get kind of crazy here in the chat. But, I don't know. Maybe what I'm talking about is not very interesting. But again, with this you can just start out like this. I'm just deadening the strings wherever I'm at, just squeezing. That's not like a Princeton right here. A very Prince thing. And notice on that, remember I said we have an extra 16th that we got to deal with if we're doing groupings of 3. Well, there I dealt with it. I did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So you basically, there's a few ways you can do it. You can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16. Or you could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that would sound like something like this. 4 and 1. Prince would do something. Thanks, Catherine. I appreciate that. Yeah, I do know that. So one of the things that with this online thing, this online course that I'm thinking about doing, it's gonna be uber slow moving, uber simple. I'm gonna really try to small successes in every lesson, I think, will encourage people to continue through the course, which is fine once you pay the course. Once you buy the course, I don't care. You could stop after the first lesson. I'm actually going to have a 0 lesson when I'm like, this is a guitar. Lesson 0. Like complete noobs, all right? Anybody could get something out of it. One of the things I am going to do, I'm going to have music notation in it. I'm going to have to create that probably. But one of the things that I noticed is that my viewers tend to like and expect that I don't do a lot of editing, that I try to do the lesson in one sitting, and I'm not like constantly chopping up, you know, and it sounds like that, you know, where I'm like, I don't like that I said there, so I'm going to cut out that And it's like, I hate that. I don't like it. I want the lessons to feel like you're just sitting in a lesson with me. And they'll probably be 10 to 15 minutes long. I don't know. I'm still formulating. I'm trying to kind of lay out all. So my point being that the lessons should be quite easy to edit. So I'm thinking about maybe having my daughter do the editing on it, because they're getting ready to move, and her husband got a new job, and so she won't have a job right away. She might do some substitute teaching in the fall, whatever. But I thought, you know, if I decide to launch this, I might as well pay her to do some of the editing, because she could do that, and she can create graphics as well. So I wanted to kind of have some fun graphics where it was like, you know, like a new chord graphic that pops up, you know, when I'm saying, okay, here's a new chord. And literally the first chord I'm going to show, I should show the E minor 7 at 11, because that's always a great lesson, and don't judge a chord by its name. But E minor 7, one finger. I'm going to teach, seriously, this is how slow I'm going to go. I'm going to teach about whole notes. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it may drive some people crazy, and I'm not going to sit there and play that for 5 minutes. The idea is that, okay, you get that lesson, now you go, you know what, I can do lesson 2. Let me go to lesson 2, click, go do that. You might do 4 lessons in one sitting. But every lesson will have a card at the beginning saying, tune your guitar, go back one lesson, and review. And then it'll have something like, go back one lesson to review, and then also and just relax and have fun. And so that's the goal, is for it to be fun. And I feel like when you make little successes, when you have little successes, that's fun, and it does tend to propel you into the next thing. So that's kind of my thinking. Yeah, the Dog Trainer does a special week for free, yeah, on Facebook and YouTube, all aimed at encouraging folks to sign up. Yep, that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'll have like one lesson for free available, so you can see and decide if you're going to sign up for it. I think probably it'll be 35 lessons with PDFs. I'll probably have to create the PDFs. And I will probably have to create the music notation and send that to Emma to insert in the videos, and we'll try one and see how it goes. You know, and the other thing I told you about, though, was that, and I think my camera does HD, but if not, I'll get a new camera. But I need to do like 4K so that I can chop the frame up into chop the frame up into 4 frames, 4 segments. And that way my left hand would be in one segment, my right hand would be in another segment. And so I can't do a 3-camera shoot, not without help. And I don't want to pay that much money to have someone come in, because my hope was, if I would pay someone to come over, I would film 10 lessons in one day. But what would that cost me? I mean, if I'm paying a videographer for, you know, who knows, 6-7 hours, you know, that could be $1,000 I'm out right away. If I just have a high quality camera and I only have to keep track of one, and so my friend said that it's the lens. He gave me a lens to get. It's about $1,000, and so I would use that lens either with my camera or get a new camera, which would be about $2,000, that would do 4K HD, and then I can chop up every one of those segments would be a 1080, and that's plenty good quality. So I think that I would do that. Now, my last video, if you watch my last video, where I talked about the song, the chords in, was it Dadgad? I did some progressions in Dadgad. If you look at that one, I actually filmed separately I filmed the wide shot and did all that dialogue and knew what I was going to say before, in the middle, and at the end, and recorded all that. And then I did the close-up stuff. The problem with that is the audio is different. So you get the sound of my room when you're on the wide thing, but when the camera was close, I'm talking like a golf announcer. So I've got to start figuring out the best way to record. I'm going to probably get a lapel mic, but the problem is the lapel mic picks up my voice good, but doesn't pick up the guitar good. So then I got to put a mic on the guitar, but it can't be in the shot. So it's got to be, and then that picks up too much room. So it's going to be kind of a process. Now, again, I don't necessarily need it to be serious quality because it's not going on. None of these videos will be on YouTube. These will be probably on my personal server. These will not. I will have my own server for that. Not my own server, like sitting in my house or anything like that. But you have to go to my website, log in, have a login, and I will give away free. But my plan is for 35 lessons for it to be maybe $199. So it's not cheap, $200. But if you were to, I would charge you $100 to $150 for an hour lesson. So you would be getting essentially 35 lessons for the price of 2 lessons with me. So I feel like that's a good thing. And I will curate the crap out of it. The other thing I will do, because it's not on YouTube, not on Vimeo, not on any other streaming service, I can use songs. Now, I'm not going to play those songs. I mean, I'm not going to play the audio of the original recordings. But, if I'm doing one of probably the second song you would learn would be Dazed and Confused. It's so simple. And again, my clientele is the 55 to 75 set. And it's going to be songs they know. I think the newest song I might do would be like Smells Like Teen Spirit from 1990. I mean, that would be about as modern as I would get. So that's kind of the beauty of it. And I've been teaching, these would be similar to lessons I taught for years. But they'll just be better organized. They'll be, like I said, PDFs, that go if I have any diagrams at all, there'll be a PDF that goes with it, and I'll create those. And they don't, again, if I got, say, 100 people bought, well, I don't know that I could justify it. That'd be 20 grand. I'd be spending a lot of time and money on it. I don't know, 20,000 would be enough. So, I don't want to do a monthly subscription. I want you to be able to buy it, and basically, the problem is I will have an IT thing where you have to be, you'll be able to actually log in, and you'll have a login, and just you pay it and you've got it. And I'll have to have an IT guy that figures all that out. But thank you, Joseph. Steve Stein. Yeah, I don't know that, but and the other thing that was fascinating, like this guy that I told you about, that he sells 20 a month at $1,000 a pop. So he's teaching screenwriting. So that's $20K a month he's making. That I could handle. But it's interesting because I went to his website and he said, enrollment's closed right now. I'm like, enrollment's closed. It's an online course that you either download or you have access to. And of course, I'm sure everybody, like anyone who wants to download the videos from my website, if they have access to it, I'm sure there's a right click on it with a certain program you can download the video so you have it. The downside of that is, of course, somebody posts on YouTube and now they're making money off of my lessons, and that's kind of what I want to try to avoid. Plus, the reason not to put it on YouTube is, again, if you have the URL, you can go to it. So then why would you subscribe? You just share the URL, and the subscription thing I don't really want to do because I don't have to keep it up. I want to create one lesson pack, a 35, have plans for 2 more, like a total of 100 lessons. But if the first 35 does well and I make some decent money on it, then I'll come up with level 2, and then level 3, and so on and so forth. There are hosting sites that can do it, like School, SKOOL. They charge $99 a month. I'm just not really interested in paying them $100 a month to host my thing. I just don't know, because right away I'm like, dang, I'm on a deficit here. So, yeah. Yes. It's amazing how he was like, oh, but I'll let you know, get your email, and the email's the key. Give me your email, and I'll let you know when open enrollment is. And then 1 week a month he has open enrollment, and then he sells 20 of those things. Now, if he had it open 24/7, 300 or every day of the month, then he might not get as many people buying the program, because I'll come back to it tomorrow or next week or whatever. But if they think there's only a window that you can do it, I think that's brilliant, and it's manipulative and a little bit of marketing kind of BS, but that's how you do it. It only gives access certain times. The reason, and then I might, if you remember, I might set up these, what we're doing now, I might stop doing. At some point, I'm going to stop doing. But I might do like these Zoom things, or these live streams that you can log into, and my friend who actually suggested that I do this, Saad Haddad, he calls them office hours, because he's a college professor. He teaches at Columbia, and he does office hours, and so you can catch him twice. In fact, I'm going to do one of his live office hour things, where I take questions about playing in the gaming industry. His lessons are geared towards contemporary composers, and so weird, stuff. Well, that's weird. Just like that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff where my kid could do that. My kid could paint that, like Picasso. My kid's better than Picasso. It's funny. But he actually it's called The Composer's Brain. It's actually fascinating. And he gave me a free membership because he wants me to participate. But I need to check out his lessons. Is this a string? It's a broken string. I think that's the broken lute string. I wonder why it broke. I did discover, though, that for my lute, I can use fishing line. It worked great. Totally used it on a game. So, but yeah, Catherine, totally put your ideas in there, and any thoughts you have on it. It's a long way from fruition. Part of the problem is I'm busy, so it's kind of one of those things. And this goes against one of my edicts to musicians, and people that want to do what I do. It's like, you gotta promote yourself when you're busy. Like, no, I'm busy. I'll do it when I'm slow. And it's like, if you promote yourself when you're busy, you won't ever be slow, and that's good. You don't want to be slow. So that's the problem right now. I'm pretty busy, and so this thing to me seems daunting. And I like I said, I'm probably going to do a test lesson, and see what lesson 1, and see what I come up with. But I have to at least get the audio better. I can try it with my current camera and lens and just see what I can come up with, and just start to formulate conceptually. I think I'm going to teach back there. And I'm probably going to pretty much just teach on acoustic guitar. So that makes it a little bit easier. I'm fine with anybody who wants to play electric. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But it's going to be super, super simple lessons. And it might be something where you could go through all, 35 lessons in 1 week and be like, dang, okay, well, but if you do that, you will have some skills at the end of it. And for some people, it's like, yeah, I played in high school, but I'm 65 now. I haven't played since I was 17. And so I really need to start over again. So, Twisted Lines, what's going on? You are very welcome. Did you ask a question? You were up there earlier, right? Or is this the first you've appeared? Sorry, scrolling. All right, anyway. Um, yeah, that would anger you. Yeah. Yeah, but the marketing thing, the key is, my understanding is the email list is key. And if you have an email list, and I would not, if I hate getting 62 emails a quarter from somebody. Okay, I will say if you're gonna get on my email list, you will get an email saying enrollment is open, and then once you're enrolled, um, what I can do is create a separate email list that I can move your email to, that will only alert you if there's like a new program. Because otherwise, if you ask to be emailed for the open enrollment, so then I would say unsubscribe from that once you've bought the program. But apparently, my understanding is, and that's why they're always asking for your email. It's like having someone's email is a direct access, direct line, and I may do an ad, Catherine, that I don't know if I can literally buy ads on my own videos, but like on my 7 tips for older beginners, I would totally buy an ad on that video. That's something I need to research. In fact, I don't know if you know that. If anybody knows that, if YouTube will let me buy ads on specific videos, like I want, because I do think they have auctions for that. And so I don't know that anybody's bidding up my videos to try to advertise on them. But I can do an ad saying, hey, my video is going to start here in a minute, but I just want to let you know I'm doing a basic guitar program. I'm calling it Guitar for the Complete Noob, and it's just baby bites, but boom, and then hopefully you watch that ad and then click on my video. That's kind of my photojournalist son says good equipment will only get you so far. The skill is in using the equipment, very important. That's right. And again, these videos are not competing on YouTube. So when I think about my videos and I go, I don't do them very often anymore. Part of it's just because it takes forever and I'm not getting many views. I've tried to catch lightning in a bottle more than once, but I feel like I'm competing with my friend John Meyer, my friend Paul Davids. I feel like it's like I'm never going to do videos that look as good as Paul. I mean, Paul literally had a videographer here with him. John Meyer, he does videos where he was here with me and he set up cameras and stuff. The French guy I did an interview with, that one, it was pretty good, but he had a guy with him. But it was basic. It wasn't, very good filming, quality or anything like that. So, but I can make good. The main thing is just to be able to get everything in one shot. If it's a 15-minute lesson, I hopefully can get through it all in 15 minutes. And then it's just a matter of cropping and zooming in on my hands when it's a good time to zoom in on my hand, and that it looks good when you do that. My friend said, "Oh, it looks best if you have 2 separate cameras." I understand that, or 3 cameras, but I can't. I've tried, and I've done it. I've done it a couple times, but the problem is, I got to stay focused on you guys, on the camera here, the wide shot. And I got a camera here and a camera here, and they're filming, and they both have to be out of the scene. So chances are they're a little further back and zoomed in a little bit. I've done 2 cameras. So I had a main camera here, the wide shot, and then a close-up on my left hand, right? And if I'm talking about my left, if it's a groove thing, I might only show the right hand. I don't need to show the left hand. Same thing if I'm showing you chords, I don't need to show you the right hand. I just need to show you the left hand. The problem was, I did this whole 10-minute video. I take the cards out of the cameras and I start loading them in, and I look at them and I go, this thing, the wide looks great, because I'm looking at the screen, right, while I'm doing it. And it's like when I notice that it gets blurry, if I zoom in and I get too close to that camera, or if I put my hand up there too close like I'm about to do, it gets blurry, and I'm sitting there waiting for it, to get back to focus. But then I looked at the card files from this camera, and it was good, when I started, but I moved a little bit too far down at one point, and all of a sudden it focused on the wall behind me. And then when I moved my hand back, it focused again, but it was out of focus for much of the time, completely unusable. So both of those videos are completely unusable. So that's why with that last video that I did, if you sort my videos by latest, not live videos, but uploaded videos, you'll see that video I did on the DADGAD progressions, and that one I did 2 different shoots. I did the wide, I did all the dialogue, I mapped it out. I said I need to say this at the beginning, and this at the end, and this in the middle, and this here, and then I did all that dialogue, and then I got a good, and then the whole time I'm talking about this, the progressions, I'm looking at the screen so I can make sure that the square is on there, and if it gets off, I can see it, shut off, start again. Okay, do that part of the lesson again. And because I'm cutting back and forth between the wide shot and the close-up shot, it can be different. It can be different shots, and you won't notice. You have no idea that it's two different moments. So, yeah. So the newbie stuff, it's just like I said. It's like I'm literally the first lesson is gonna be, and I'm giving it to you right now for free. Look at this. It's gonna be Peter Gunn with one finger. Heck, you can even play with your thumb, or you play with your finger over the. It doesn't even matter. But it's just to kind of learn that. To those, 2nd fret, then open, then 3rd fret, then open, then 5th fret, 4th fret. But then I go, okay, now let's try doing it with all 4 fingers. And in your first lesson, you're getting all 4 fingers. It's great. Try to do that. We're going to take it real slow and see if you can do it. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can do it with a bend. That would be the first lesson, and I would teach the E minor, 7, and I would talk about the whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would talk about keeping your hand moving. 3, 4, 1. And the next lesson, I might teach you E minor with 2 fingers, right? And then it would be half notes. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Super duper basic stuff. I don't even know if I can make those last 15 minutes. I think those lessons will be 10 minutes or less. And that's fine if I get to the point. But once I teach the thing that you need to know, like the E minor chord and the whole note thing, I might play that for a minute so you can play along with it. And that's literally how basic it's going to be. Well, and that's the other thing. I don't think I'll do slide, but I thought maybe in the first lesson I would do finger picking too. So you're literally, and in the lesson 0, I will talk about fingers and pick. And I'll say there's even a thing called hybrid picking when you're using the pick and the fingers, totally loud. Some people play with their thumb. Yeah, you can, but I'm going to show you a lot of different skills. And so, because one of the first lessons, actually one of the early lessons will be literally Malagueña. I taught that to a lot of people. But, don't hold your breath for this. It may never happen. Like I said, the thought of doing one more video for my YouTube channel is daunting. The thought of doing 35 videos and then paying money to have someone, well, at least it's my daughter if I have her do it, paying money for someone to do, to edit these, to edit the lessons, and then spending $1,000 on a new lens at the minimum, and maybe $2,000 on a new camera. So I'm out another $3,000. I don't want to do any kind of like. I have the money, but for me, it's always been a matter of return. You're 44 and haven't played since my teens, and I'm working on a heart transplant, and it's hard to find good lessons from good people. I'd buy your lessons and have tons of lessons, and you have tons. Yeah, and these will be different than the ones I do on YouTube because, again, I'll be able to use real songs. So you're going to be learning Zeppelin. I mean, I've got, you'll be learning Zeppelin and Beatles songs. Ultimately, that's the goal. And one of the things that I will say literally in the intro, there'll be an intro video, there'll be a lesson 0, and those won't be part of the 35, so it'll be 37 videos. But the intro video will be like, okay, I've been accused 1,000 times of like not finishing a song. Like, how come you only play the intro to a song? It's kind of like, well, because that's what makes you excited. But do you really want me to play all of Stairway to Heaven? Are you going to sing it? Because if I just play Stairway to Heaven all the way through, you know, they're like, well, can you finish a song? It's like, I could finish a song, but I just want to play this for you because it's fun, you know. And then if you're in a band, yeah, you better learn the whole song. But, geez, I don't know that I want to teach you. I used to love teaching Stairway to Heaven because it would be a 3, 4, 5 lessons song. Some songs, you know, I would teach. Well, I don't know if I think one of my students learned all of Cliffs of Dover. And I had the book, so I was just basically copying, pasting. And I don't even think there's no way I taught all of it. But all the main melodies and stuff, he kind of learned it himself. I think I maybe gave him my book and he made copies or something. But yeah, I appreciate that, Twisted, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, so my thinking now, you know, if I get 1% of 1%, which is really conservative, of the people that watched 4 million people that watched my video. Now, how do I get to them, though? How do I find those? I think there's, you know, 1,500 comments, so I guess I could go on all those comments and say, hey, you know, go to my YouTube channel for a video on, and I would change my channel video to say, hey, if you want to go to the Tom Strahle Guitar for Noobs, you know, go to this link or whatever, and you can sign up for a program there. But yeah, and then again, if you know, at $200 a pop, you know, if I sell 400, what is that? My brain. I mean, seriously, I should know that. 200 times 400. $80,000. Yeah, that would be worth my time. That would be worth my time. If it took me 10 years to make that, that's $8,000 a year. That's not really worth my time. But if I could do that every year, you know, or if I did another program and I had 2 programs going on, and I was selling 2 programs at once, I mean, I'm telling you, I know that Tim Pierce is making maybe $1 million a year. He's got 2 full-time employees or something. I don't know if he made $1 million in 5 years or $1 million a year or something. And that's gross, and he's got costs and everything. And if he's got employees, those are costs. But he also is dealing with players, and he's selling to players, which is a lot smaller market than complete noobs. And I'm trying to market towards the people that have some disposable income. $200 for your average retired person in America is not too much. And again, I don't know. I think I would have a strike point. Like if I got to 80 grand, like if I sold 400 of those, then I go, okay, let's start working on the next one. And then I would do that. And so, but maybe, you know, if I sold 100 the first month, I might go, okay, let's start working on the next one because that's 20 grand right away. Boom. I could totally see doing it. But I feel like 199. I don't think I'll do 199. I think I'll just do 200. I hate the 199. That kind of marketing stuff doesn't work on me. It's like, here, it's just $200. Here's $200. You know, I could do a GoFundMe to pay for the cameras and to pay for, basically the money would just go to my daughter. So I feel like that's a little kind of disingenuous if I was actually having to hire someone. Because Emma can do some video editing. Her husband's actually really good at it. And they have Final Cut, which is what I use. And if I'm doing 4K video, then I just have to upload the videos to a server, up to Dropbox. They download it, they edit it, they upload the thing. And then so that would be, I would maybe have to pay for them to have Dropbox Pro if they don't already. But yeah, so that's kind of my thinking. Yeah. So if 1% of my 4 million that's what is that, 40,000, and 1% of that would be 400. Imagine if 40,000 bought it. I mean, that would be $8 million. And see, that's not going to happen because there's no way for me to get in touch with those 4 million people. It's moving forward, anybody who watches it. So as that video gets older and older, less and less people are watching. So I'm kind of losing the opportunity on that video to either advertise on that video or put a link. I can put a link in the video that I can change after the fact. I could put a card in there that says, hey, check out this message about my school, my program that I'm creating. So I could trade lessons for video editing. My daughter, I'd rather just give her money. I don't mind paying somebody to do it. And for me, a lot of times I've had people do work for me, and I gave them, they said, oh, I'll give you, give me 2 guitar lessons and I'll give you my Dodger tickets, the box seats. And I'm like, okay, great. And then they never take the lessons. I had a girl that started doing our will. She was an attorney, and she was an actress. I actually worked with her on a TV show, and she really wasn't getting a lot of acting. And she had her law degree, and she passed the bar in California, and she took maybe 2 lessons, and she probably did like, I don't know, a couple $1,000s worth of work. I felt bad. It was like, dang, you started all this, and then she moved to San Diego. So I don't, I don't like bartering too much. I mean, I like the concept, although, if you barter, you have to declare that as income, technically. Now, I don't know anybody doing that, declaring it as income. But if I barter a lesson for Bruce, I give Bruce a guitar lesson and he makes me a cigar box guitar, technically he has to, if my lesson was a $150 lesson, he'd have to declare $150 in income. And if his cigar box guitar was worth $300, I'd have to declare that $300. Do you know anybody who's doing that ever with the IRS? And I'm going on record here on YouTube. I'm live. This is permanent record here. I can't imagine doing that. I'm like, you give me a chicken and I give you a guitar lesson? Really? Doctors used to get paid in chickens in rural areas, Yeah, the players, no, there's no, no, the market is noob and older players. It can be noobs. I don't care. You don't have to be old. It doesn't matter to me. But part of the thing about the 55 to 75 or 55 and older, they don't want videos that are like super edited and super flashy with lots of graphics and bing, bing, bing. They don't necessarily want to do that. They don't want to feel like they're playing a video game. They just want a guy to tell them, here's the deal. Do this. Start here. It's gonna get harder, but it's not gonna get harder for a long time. I'm trying to make it as easy for you as possible. Now, a 15-year-old kid doesn't need that kind of kid glove handling, because I've had 15-year-old students and they are freaking sponges. They drive me crazy. I can't teach them enough in an hour lesson. They come back the next week, they've already got it down and 3 more things besides. So it was always a challenge with the young kids. I love teaching the high school kids, because they would always bring me songs I hadn't heard and be like, ooh, that's how I learned about Nirvana and Coldplay and Muse and so many cool bands that I didn't know existed, because I was a jazz head or a classical guy or whatever. And I discovered all these great bands. I remember one of the students made me a mixtape, basically a CD player mixtape. Now, somebody, I think it was it Many Vibes, you said, you wish they still would do DVDs. Yeah, the only problem with a DVD, well, you've got manufacturing issues. So you got to do all that. And then most people don't even have DVD players. They certainly don't have CD players on their computers anymore. And the other problem with that is then people can upload those videos. So they have a hard copy they can upload and start, putting them up on torrent sites and things like that. And I prefer that not to happen. I feel like if it's $200, I don't bury you in emails. You get some good PDFs for free. And I don't care if you upload those to us. That doesn't matter. the idea is, I breed some loyalty, and you want to do me right by not sharing my stuff. And again, it's much less likely in the 55 and over set. The people that were doing all the Napster stuff, they weren't 55-year-old people. They didn't even know what Napster was. And so I had the software that iTunes or the Apple bought and turned into iTunes. I actually bought it. I think it was $29, and it was so I could turn. You didn't have a way to turn a WAV file into an MP3, and MP3s were a lot easier to email because I was doing music, and I needed to send MP3s for song ideas or stuff like that. So, yeah. See you later. Thank you, Catherine, for all you add. Yeah. Well, 77. Fortunately, I'm doing well. The fact that I play every day, all day, probably doesn't hurt, but that also could make it worse. And that may be the thing that slows me down. Now the thing is, when most of my playing that I do on a daily basis is way below my level. I only need 20% of my skills. So even if my hands get slower or whatever, that's probably not going to affect most of what I do. But I still feel like I'm pretty fast. And that there's sometimes I feel like I miss a string, but I can still do this. So that's good. I can get my fingers flush with my palm of my hand like that. When I hurt my finger, it was on my left hand. I was trying to lift something really heavy and something popped. I couldn't quite get this finger all the way close, but it was my index finger. And I just kept forcing it every day. I'd walk to Starbucks just going like this, just forcing it even though it hurt. And now I can totally bend it. Everything's fine. But I did not want to lose the mobility on that. I had a friend that was playing flag football and he reached his hand to grab someone's flag and he missed and he got his middle finger stuck in their belt loop on their pants and pulled the tendons all in this finger here. And the guys doing Napster back then are now 55. Yeah, I expect exactly. Can I play the entertainer? I used to have an arrangement of it, but I can. So it was in. Yeah, that's hard. It's no. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I somewhere I have an arrangement of. I don't know if it's probably in the key. I don't know. Yeah, I have an arrangement of it somewhere. I don't ever know if I got it nailed. Is it an E though? Is it? Nah. I don't know. I don't know what key it's in originally. All right. Sean Parker, yeah, and he also helped Mark Zuckerberg. That's exactly right, Sean Parker. Had a neighbor named Sean Parker, but no relation. Yeah, and the thing is, the fast runs, could you ever, I mean, learning the fast runs at first time playing guitar at 73, I used to want to be the fastest guitar player in the world, but it kind of collided with what people pay you for. People don't pay you to be the fastest guitar player in the world. They really don't, unless you're come out with records like Al Di Meola or something, who I felt like at the time was the fastest guy, and there's guys that are that's one of those things where you're bound to be. It's like being the king of the hill. You're bound to get knocked off. I'm not really interested in that. So I'm seeing young kids that are like blazing. They're 4 years old, and you're like, yeah. Now it's in the same thing with so many. You see so many of these great players on Instagram, and actually it's really cool because they're able to make money on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. That just doing their thing. There's a lot of like stress to that though, because you got to keep coming up with the next thing. What's his name? Mateus, who I know. He came to my church one time, and because I had a kid that was playing bass every now and then, he brought him over to introduce because in case I needed a guitar player. And I never got to use him because he kind of got pretty busy and doing things. But I met him, super nice, sweetest kid. And Mateus, I can't think of his last name. I think he's from Brazil, and he quit doing social media because it got to be such a big stress, to try to come up with that next thing. He's back at it now. I think once you realize, and he's touring and stuff. So he was doing what's his name? Shoot, I can't think of who the artist he tours with, but big artist. So he's doing pretty well. I mean, on those big tours, you can make $5K a week doing those. It got down there for a while, like down to 25. But some artists don't pay very much. Some artists will pay you $300 a show. It's kind of ridiculous. And you could do 5 shows a week, so that's $1,500 a week. And it's like, yeah, you got bills back home, and you got to pay taxes, and then you have to pay taxes in other states, and it's just a pain in the butt. But you're making $5K a week. Now you're talking, you can actually, that's you can get back home and take a month off. Yeah, Mancuso, that's right, Mateo. And so, no, not Mateo Mancuso. No, he's the European kid. No, it's the Mateus. What's his? He shows up on my Instagram all the time. He's the one that was brought to my church by Edwin Carranza, who's a bass player that tours with a lot of artists. I think Selena Gomez and stuff. He's an MD, music director. So he kind of hires the band. So this is one of the guys that he got hip to and we became friends with. But I see these people, these young people, that like, wow, they're amazing. Look at that, they're crazy. And I've known so many little, seen through the years, especially since YouTube, you've seen these virtuosos that are like these 12-year-old blues kids, and it's like, where are they now? It's like, it's fast, it's cool when they're 12, but when they're 22, who cares? It's not cute anymore. And then the hard part is making a living. You see, anybody can get to the point where they're pretty freaking amazing on guitar, but turning that into a career, almost impossible. And like I said, nobody ever paid me to play fast. I mean, it was super rare for someone said, I just need you to shred like insane on this. I'm like, okay. And I can do that. And I think at Apex I do it, sometimes. I haven't worked on Apex in forever. I think they probably got somebody else. He's from Italy. Oh, Matteo Sasato. Yeah, that's who it was. Mancuso's from Italy. You're right. Yep. That kid's amazing, the way he can, play with his fingers and stuff like that. And it was mainly because he didn't even know about a guitar pick. Like, he didn't even know guitar pick was a thing. That Beato video is funny where he tries to play with a pick. He still kills it. I mean, he's a good musician. I mean, his improvisational skills are off the charts. So I think he would be good at any instrument he learned. So that's key. He'll have a career. I think he'll be fine. Mancuso and Asado. But again, they could have careers on Instagram. That's the amazing thing about it. They can make 6 figures a year just by posting videos. The problem is in our business, the guitar companies don't really give you very much money for an endorsement. Like they'll give you a guitar, but that's about it. They won't. Not many people are getting paid a lot of money to do that. You have to be pretty big to do that. What type of genre do I play? I kind of do everything. I mean, you can tell by the instruments behind me. I mean, well, I've never, the one up there you can't see really, but that one's from the Philippines. I haven't really done much with that. And then same with the Quattro from, although I can play it, it's a Quattro from Puerto Rico. I haven't used that much. There's a bass 6. That thing is great for James Bond 60s vibes. I used that on Emmy nominated. Hopefully it wins. That would be great. Emmy nominated Palm Royale score. That's an Irish bouzouki. That's an Arabic bouzouki, and that's a Greek bouzouki, and that's an Arabic kumbas, and that's a dobro, and that's an electric guitar I have tuned high strung, and that's a Telecaster, and there's an oud, and that's just what you can see. There's guitars all surrounding me on all up high and everywhere. I've got ukuleles from Tahiti. I've got a kind of a ukulele from Georgia, the country Georgia. I just played a vihuela. But, I do metal, I do rock stuff. I do, just depends, it's like, get a sound going here. No, and again, the best compliment I've ever gotten on my YouTube channel was I don't teach how to play guitar. I teach how to make music, and that's kind of what I want. It's like my 3 goals of my school, if I do that lesson thing, will be have fun, learn guitar, or learn to play guitar, or learn to make music. And so that's kind of why I sneak in the music theory stuff, because it's like, oh wait, I think I could write a song if I I'll do a 1-6-4-5 progression, but I do it in this style or move it and blah, 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 that kind of thing. So anyway, so yeah, as far as Francesco Tarrega, was that Tarrega that did Asturias? All right, well, I've been on for 2.5 hours, you guys. Just talking. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I will see you next Monday, I think. I got some stuff coming up that I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be working off-site for a while, and so that I'm not sure exactly the dates on that. So I don't know if it conflicts. I'll post it on Discord, and so if you don't see me by 10 or 15 after, you might want to look on the Discord and go, oh, okay, that's why Tom's not here. Or Bruce might, I might let Bruce know. Bruce usually reaches out if I'm not logged in, or if I'd said something like I'm not gonna be around. But my plan is to be around on Mondays. So no plans to be gone yet, Bruce, but there's definitely stuff coming up that I'm gonna have to be. I just don't know when they are. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm known as the god of guitar, exactly. the Lord of the guitar. The Lord of the dance. Yeah, that's me. You don't want to see me dance. It's like Elaine over here from Seinfeld. All right. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Monday. Be safe.